Hey guys, and welcome to Pirate Hunter Trophy. In a fight, pride can be a bad thing that makes you lose. Pride doesn't mean much unless you're one of these big, strong guys who can back up your words. Whitebeard was a pirate who was called the strongest man in the world, and Escanor, the Prideful Lion Sin, are good examples of these big, strong guys. Join us as we look at their guns, armor, and skills to see who would win. A death battle! Whitebeard. In the left wing, we have Whitebeard. He is one of the most powerful pirates in One Piece. In his prime, Whitebeard was one of the few people who could take on the Pirate King Gol D. Roger. They fought for days and ended up with a draw. Before Roger died and the Great Age of Pirates began, he was already known as the strongest man in the world because of his strength. Whitebeard became one of the 4 emperors after Roger's death. The 4 emperors were the 4 most powerful pirates in the world and ruled the New World. In fact, among them, he was known as the closest man to One Piece and the Pirate King who ruled the sea and stood before the throne. As proof of this, Whitebeard's bounty was not only the highest among his peers, but also the second highest in written history, at over 5 billion, coming in second only to Roger's. Kaido, who is known as the strongest creature in the world, put Whitebeard in the same special group as Roger, Kozuki, Odin, and Shanks. Devil Fruit. In terms of other world powers, Whitebeard ate the strongest Paramecia Devil Fruit, the Gura Gura no Mi, or Tremor Tremor Fruit. This gave him the power to cause earthquakes and send out strong shockwaves. Sengoku said that Whitebeard was powerful enough to destroy the whole world. He is able to send very strong shockwaves through the air, cracking the air itself in the process. The attacking power of these shockwaves is so strong that they can match up with the Magma Fruit, which has the most attack power of all the Devil Fruits. He could use these shockwaves to quickly kill many enemies in a wide area or kill a single target, even a giant, in a scary way. He could also use his shockwaves to protect himself since they had so much raw power that they could easily stop strikes. He could also make his body send out strong tremors that could easily break the ice. He could use his power to shake, break, and tilt the land. By using his earthquake skills to hit the area as a whole, he could cause big earthquakes and, in the right conditions, huge tsunamis. His earthquakes can do a lot of damage and change the scenery around him. They would destroy buildings, make big cracks in the ground, and push up pieces of the ground to make new rock formations. He could even grab the area around him and tilt it, which was said to be like making the whole sea tilt. Whitebeard could use his power to make his strikes more powerful by putting concentrated quake bubbles around his hands and feet. When these quake bubbles hit something, they would send out a small but strong shockwave, making his melee attacks much more damaging. He could also put a quake bubble around the blade of his polearm, which made it much more deadly. Weapons. In terms of weapons, Whitebeard has one of the 12 supreme grade blades, which is a huge naginata named Murakumogiri. Haki. Also, Whitebeard was one of the few people in the world who knew how to use all 3 kinds of haki, and not just use them, but is a master in all 3 of the haki forms, placing him only second to the Pirate King. Escanor. And in the right wing, we have the Sin of Pride, the Lion, Escanor. He is often thought to be the best of the 7 deadly sins, even though he is a mere human. He is one of the most powerful characters in the whole story. Meliodas at full power, the Demon Lord, and other gods are the only ones who came close. Even though he starts out as a normal human and the prince of the kingdom of Castilio, Escanor uses his power, Sunshine, to become one of the strongest fighters in the world. Sunshine is an ability that the Archangel Mael gave to Escanor. It makes his skills grow and shrink with the day and night. During the night, Escanor is a small, shy bartender who isn't very good at fighting, but when the sun comes up, he changes into a macho man hunk who can beat up anyone who stands in his way. Escanor's skills only get stronger as the sun rises until noon. When the sun is at its highest point in the sky, Escanor takes on a form called the One, that is power itself. Even in his most powerful attack mode, Meliodas had no chance against this form. When Escanor and Meliodas fought, Escanor as the One beats Meliodas in one blow. Even so, this is only a small part of Escanor's real ability. Divine Sword Escanor, Escanor cuts an opponent with a downward swipe of his hand. This attack was strong enough to destroy the ominous nebula that Zaldris had made. Divine Spear Escanor. Escanor stabs his opponent with his middle finger, hard enough to cut them. As a last resort, Escanor can trade his own life force to make the One appear. The One, Ultimate, is an even stronger skill than the One in its normal form. Escanor gives up his life to become one of the strongest things in the world for a short time. He can only ever use this power once, which is a shame. Weapons. Escanor possesses Rita. It is a big, pretty axe named after a young woman who is said to be in love with the sun. It is very heavy, and most of its weight is in the head. This makes it very unbalanced and a two-handed axe, but he can use it with just one hand. Also, since Escanor is fighting against Whitebeard in the One Piece world, it would stand to reason that Escanor would possess all three forms of Haki, making one of the most dangerous characters in One Piece, on par with Shanks and Kaido, earning him a total of 2.659 billion berries as a bounty. And his power would be a result of a devil's fruit, maybe the sun fruit, and with that, let's get into the fight. Fight! The Divine Axe Rita and Whitebeard's Bicento hit each other. It sends out big shockwaves that Whitebeard's crew could feel on the island and in the area around it. Then, Whitebeard hits Escanor with his Bicento. Escanor was able to avoid it, but Whitebeard's Sea Quake attack hurts him because he couldn't avoid it. Then Escanor starts shooting tiny bits of sunlight at Whitebeard, which Whitebeard easily blocks with his armament Haki. Whitebeard then slams his fist into the ground, which sets off his Hypocenter attack. This attack again hurts Escanor and does some major damage to him. As Escanor was getting better, Whitebeard hits him again with his Bicento, and Escanor hits him back with his secret treasure, sending shockwaves all over the island. This time though, Escanor was strong enough to beat the Yonko, and he cut his arm pretty badly before Whitebeard was able to jump away. The Lion Sin then used his crazy prominence move on Whitebeard, which did a lot of damage to the Yonko. Just as the Yonko was getting back to normal, Escanor uses his most powerful move, Cruel Sun, to attack Whitebeard. Whitebeard then fought back with his own technique called Sea Quake, which quickly clashed with Cruel Sun and made it go away. As soon as the results of the two attacks hitting each other started to go away, noon came, and the sun reached its highest point. With this, Escanor was able to change into his most powerful form, the One, and instantly started to tower over Whitebeard because he was so much taller than him. Escanor then swung his sacred treasure again, and Whitebeard dodged it. However, because Escanor's One state made Rita stronger, Whitebeard was hurt by the effects of Rita's swing, and Escanor then attacks him with his Divine Sword, which also hurts him. Then Whitebeard gets up and tries to use Conqueror's Haki to control Escanor's will, but it didn't work because Escanor's will was much stronger than he thought it would be. Then Escanor fired his crazy prominence attack at Whitebeard again, but this time the tiny suns were much stronger because the One state made them stronger. Whitebeard was able to avoid Escanor's attack, and he used his Bicento to cut the Holy Knight's left leg, causing him to fall to his knees. He then hits Escanor's right leg, causing the Holy Knight to fall to his knees again. He then used his Helm Splitter move, which hurt Escanor and pushed him back a few meters. Then, Escanor got his axe ready and put all of his magical power into it. Whitebeard also raised his Bicento and used the power of the Quake fruit to power it. So, for the last time, they both swung at each other. When they hit, a powerful shockwave was sent through the island, threatening to tear it apart. At first, it looked like a draw, with Escanor having the slight edge, but then the Bicento cut through him and broke the handle of his holy treasure. Before he knew it, Escanor's overuse of the one state had cut the Holy Knight's body in half, and both halves immediately turned into ash. Whitebeard fell to his knees and took a few short breaths before choosing to spread his opponent's ashes as a way to honor him. He then went back to his crew to tell them what had happened. Well, that's it for today. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. We really appreciate your support.